Hello and welcome to our continued review of 2020 and the top performances throughout the year. We're catching up with our various pundits from around the country. And this week we are joined by Paul Cooney, who writes on a Friday in The Star on all matters Greyhound racing, and of course, the Nenagh Guardian's Greyhound correspondent. Paul, you're very welcome. It's been a strange year, a dramatic year, but also a cracking year on the track.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable on the track. I suppose we're lucky. We're lucky to be racing at all when you consider some of the sports, and we have to be grateful for that. But there's no doubt, like it's been the most challenging year I've ever experienced in greyhounds, and probably ever will. And I wouldn't like it to be repeated. But the one thing you can be grateful for is that the racing was utterly exceptional. You know. I can't. It's scary. You think you go through generations, from when you're a young fella, and it gets better and better with each greyhound generation. But I thought we'd hit a peak kind of 6-7 years ago, but this year it's just gone ridiculous. It's just absolutely gone through the roof.
Yeah, like myself, Paul, you grow up and you hear these stories of the great dogs from the past, the dogs that will be there and legends forever and ever. And you sort of try and equate them to modern standards, and you go, well, it just seems that there's 5 or 6 dogs at this moment in time that would stand up to any generation.
Yeah, well, even the thing I'd say about that is I agree with all that, but even now I think there's dogs we won't be talking about in 6, 7, 10 years time that are getting passed over because there's too many possible legends in the game at the minute. Like just if you want to call it, the B team at the moment is absolutely off the charts.
Yeah, to call them a B team, as you say yourself, it's an insult to them because they are top greyhounds.
Crazy. Yeah, absolutely crazy. Like there's guys going around Shelburne Park there with 28, 20 dogs. They can't even entertain the notion of winning the classic. And that's unthinkable. It's crazy. It's scary. It's scary for small kennels when you're looking at some of this, and like the dream always remains. It might dilute a bit as you get older. You start a bit of realism on it that this, all right, I might never achieve this, but it's scary to think of the likes of it, And we're lucky here. I'm saying I write for the Nenagh Guardian. Our biggest kennel here would be Packilfile, in the North Tip area. And we're lucky, and we have that standard to look at all the time. And you aspire to go to traps with him in a classic semi-final or a final, but it seems like it's getting further and further away. And I pick out Packilfile especially, and it puts me in mind, say, of the Dowlings as well. I won't mention any more in case I leave anybody out. But to be breeding, rearing, training, owning themselves, training for other people, to every avenue of the sport, and to be excelling the way they are in every avenue of the sport. I just think it's phenomenal. And there's people in this game that have taken it to an absolute different level. And it really, while I'm super jealous, they really get on my wicked times because I can't see myself getting to that level.
Yeah.
So it's truly admirable. There's some amazing, people talk about Aidan O'Brien and horses and all that crack. What the likes of, I'll only say Dowling and Gilfile again because there's more, but I don't want to leave people out. But it's crazy to see the standards and see what they keep able to do and produce, and doing it with dogs over a 3-year racing campaign. They're doing it with bitches, they're doing it with stayers, they're doing it with sprinters. It's crazy.
Yeah, the standard out there is it's mind-blowing at the moment. But as you say, and you have highlighted, a lot of the success in recent years from the big boys has been from the breeding operation up. It started at home, and it seems to be the way to go. And I suppose that's why people do breed a bitch and hope that they come across a brood bitch that can live to these standards and perhaps will throw a champion themselves.
Yeah, it has. And there's more people. Some of the top trainers have taken a bit of a leaf out of the likes of the Dowling book and the Gilfile book insofar as breeding their own more, in alongside an operation where they're training for big owners and that. But it's the chances. It's the risk. Breeding is a risk, but what the Dowlings do is truly amazing with some of the stud dogs and some of the bitches and the matches up and mixing coursing and track. It's just
I've joked in recent times that, you know, every week we do these shows, and I said we're just going to start calling it Talking Ballymac, the way things are going at present. Every week there's and it's not just the case of it's the Antons and, you know, the well established performers. Every week it seems there's a new one producing, like Ballymac Cash Out in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Ballymac Aerial in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's just getting unbelievable from strength to strength. But Paul, what we've done is we've asked you to pick out your two racing highlights of the year, a local one and an overall one, and I don't know where you want to start. Where exactly do you want to start?
We'll go with the national one, and it's not a moment or as such or an actual competition. It's my highlight of the year is Meena Miracle. I just think she's astounding. As an ordinary Joe looking in, if there was one greyhound in the country, I'd love to be putting a lead on every morning. It's Meena Miracle. It's you take a look at her campaign there, right? I don't know the cars themselves anyway, personally at all. But look, they're obviously serious amateur dogs. But her profile before lockdown was good.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. She ran in the puppy stake final up in Drumbo, and it was a hell of a good competition with it, as it turned out.
Yeah, it's a very promising bitch. I hadn't her down as for what she was going to do. I didn't know she was going to do what she was going to do.
I don't think any of us did. I don't think Michael did. Let him mind us.
But they're the only ones that could have, you know.
Yeah.
It's the men that's walking her every morning. But she came out then a good run in Shelburne. But like we just discussed, like it was 28:44. I think that was her first AO o'clock. She had a bump in it, all right. But you know, like at the time, everything was done 28:44. You know, you still weren't in the Classic League. But it's just after that, you know, like there's the track records around the country, and look, she done one herself, but there's the big runs, there's the, you know, your Pistanas and your Taylors, and they're winning streaks, and fantastic, great to see. But when you want to go to war with something, I want to go to war with Meena Miracle.
Because she run her heart out every night of the week. You know what you're going to get.
She embodies everything. You know, like the Derby campaign was absolutely fantastic, and every Derby winner is the deserved winner. There's never, I don't do hard luck stories. The dog that crosses the line first in the Derby always deserves it.
But between the last two bends, she looked a likely winner.
Derby in her own paws off the last bend, and I still maintain if she had the steering right, she probably got up. But that's only. But like it was a while. We love to see a bitch go well at that top level. We love to see a bitch that's really doing it against the superstars. You know, like we had with Witch's Bell and we had with Coola Valley Pet. But the last one to really scare the Derby was Leah, wasn't it? Holy Cross Leah.
Yeah, Holy Cross Leah.
Meena went, oh, she nearly had it, and it's the underdog thing, and that's not with the cars even, but it's the bitch. It's the underdog of the bitch in the final, and she's priced up at 20-1, and with the superstars that were in the Derby, like we were just discussing, the standard of it was absolutely off the charts. But so that was fine, you know, grand, brilliant. Wasn't she amazing, like in the Derby? And then she goes to Mullingar, and I described, actually I said to Packle File lately, I said it back around Mullingar time that I think Amazing Alice was my new Greyhound crush.
Yeah, she looked a real star in the making. Yeah,
nuts about her. I think she's fantastic.
But she's set for a big year next year, hopefully.
With the help of God, just needs to find, I think, some of the professionalism and the racing savvy that Meena Miracle has.
Yeah, she much like her sister Drubbish Curio, but when she does get it right, she'll be pretty sensational, I'd say.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of her, and she's capable of breaking track records, but you're not going to see them all the time. What you are going to see is that bitch that's in right bother off the sprint box, and something is shoving her out wide, and she's in 5th place like she was in the quarterfinal in the Ledger, and she's out. She can't qualify, but she qualifies. You know.
Yeah.
And that's who I want to go to war with. But it's that campaign, and obviously things must have worked out right for them. I don't know when she had her season, but was probably in lockdown and came out of it ready for a campaign. But like once the Derby's over, like she won Saturday night off from there to the final of the Leisure, and like she goes to the final in Mullingar and just throws in a track record for good measure, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, I just think she's an amazing bitch, and like she should have been knocked out with the first round of the Ledger. You go back and look at the first round of the Ledger, and she's going around the first bend. There's so many dogs with a seeded ground, you know, bigger dogs than her with a seeded ground, and she just has a refusal to go down, you know. And once that ledger is over, then she's got a gold, silver, and bronze in 3 Irish classics on the spin. You know, and like you'll have your Pastana, you'll have people come on here now and they talk about Pastana and they talk about Taylor, rightly so. But like for me, if I'm putting a lead on one after all those classics, it's got to be Meena Miracle.
And none, and as you say, none of them in bitch company, none in her own company. And funnily enough, she's probably better off suited in the dog company over that little bit further, the 550.
Well, the distance is the thing there. You know, that's the distance for the bitches. The conversation for another day. But
yeah.
Yeah.
And when you look back at the cores and their profile during the derby, the social media end of things, and you know they're going to be there on Christmas morning, you can be absolutely certain that Meena Miracle is going to get a good old mention as they chat away.
But that's the other side of it. I'm talking about her in a racing sense, but like she brought so much more to the derby, and like what I just like I love Limerick. I'm nearly part of the furniture there. I would. Any of the trainers and handlers will tell you, I probably get on their nerves sometimes. Usually I would anyway, around ledger time and Kirby time, because like I get starstruck with dogs, you know, that I really take to.
We all do, Paul. That's part of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, I would not have left Meena Miracle alone now.
Yeah.
I didn't mean splashing me with water while they're getting the drink down because I'd have been bang there.
It sounds like you could talk all day about her. Unfortunately, you're not going to be because we have to move on to your next one.
But one thing, Ian, we could be talking more after Saturday.
Go on.
You know what she's up to Saturday?
Oh, she's running coursing stake, I believe, up in Cavan.
It's all in her breeding. I wouldn't put it past her. Now, look, it's not simple. It's not simple for track dogs in the coursing, but like she is going to love that. When I saw it, I just thought, Jesus, like, yeah, magic. Yeah.
Well, magic. Rio's girl, like, obviously herself had the early speed to run up a coursing field.
Oh, sure, it's all in her damn line. She's a serious coursing damn line, you know. Martin Tucker's Mount Cashel Ray, the tri-state winner, like, I'm sure he's scratching his head this minute now. I'm looking forward to Saturday as the face Meena Miracle. But no, that's going to be fascinating. I just wish I could be there to see it. But
yeah, fascinating, right? Yeah. We'll move on, Paul. Your second choice for a highlight of the year.
Yeah, well, this the local highlight, and I'm going right back for performance, and just down the grades. Well, it was A2, I think. For a local bitch here to us, like lockdown has been horrible in so many ways. Like I said, we're lucky to be racing, but not being at the tracks and not meeting people is a horrible. You know, that was the worst part of it, and losing people in that time. We've lost some locals here. I just said John White, and one in particular, Charlie Malatney. Anyone that knows me now listening to this will just they'll think of Charlie straight away, and he was Mr. Limerick, Mr. Marcus Field, and to lose people like that in the middle of it. And then when you had the situation you had with funerals, and normally you'd have been having a sly one at the counter with Charlie maybe a couple of weeks beforehand, and you'd have a nice memory, and you don't have them now. But my local highlight for the year is a bitch called Our Mary's Dream, and I'm going right back to the start of the year. She actually started her career this week last year. She ran up a novice stake, but she's owned by Martin Kennedy, who would be the club secretary here for our coursing club. A fantastic family, the heartbeat of our Greyhound community is what I called them at one stage. The loveliest family you ever met. And it's about 18 months ago now that Martin lost his wife Mary. So the bitch of course appears then, called Our Mary's Dream. We didn't need much to know what the bitch was named after. But she won her first race last December, got bet in the final of novice stake. But the lads then, first Christmas without Mary. And Mary, like the work Mary done behind the scenes for the course club was just ridiculous. You know, one of these unsung heroes within our community, you know, that very few would even know was a Greyhound woman. But so the lads went away for Christmas, first Christmas without Mary. They went away and came back in the new year. And the first race back in the new year, anyway, Our Mary's Dream, she had to run in A2, I think. And it was race 11 on an SIS night. So the bookies were all packed up. One book left, I think.
Yeah.
Crowd was filtered out. There was hardly anyone there. But there was Martin there, and Martin and his family and his grandkids. And just Mary took off. Mary broke. She led to the bend and won. And it was afterwards really. And Martin came back and he said, when you're in the middle in Limerick and you're looking down there off the last bench, you can't tell much. He says, I knew she was still in front because I could hear you roaring, he says. So we got back and it's just no one. And we made our own photo. There's no one there with a camera waiting for a photo. There's none of this. And We made our own photo.
It was just a human story.
We made our own photo. They all got around the pitch and the stand. I took the photo. We had it for the Meena Guardian. But it's just, and we've had our ups and downs off the track even this year in sport. And we had a little bit there in Dáil lately and that. People don't see what any one single greyhound can mean to anyone. And like what our Mary's dream was for that family. And on that night, like, it was a hurtful time of year for Christmas, the whole lot. They felt they had to go away for it. They come back and the dog does it for them. Their first night back, they're all around, grandchildren. And it's just that human aspect. And I always say that any one dog can mean anything to anyone. And every single one of them is a champion to somebody. There's somebody getting up every morning to walk that dog. And no win is taken for granted or should be taken for granted in this game. Whether it's A9, AAO, doesn't matter. It's something very, very important to someone. And there are a couple like that really, really do stick out. And that night, our Mary's dream was healing people that night, and healing some of the best people I know in the game. And that's where all that fight that we needed a few weeks ago, that's why people rally around. That's why we all rally around. That's why we all get the proper word out there, get the truth out there all the time. Because these dogs are the best cared for dogs in this country by an absolute million miles. We are light years ahead in care and welfare and love for our animals. We respect them by putting proper regulation on them. We respect them more, we adore them more by following that regulation. It's not followed, it's not mirrored with every other dog in Ireland. We're so far ahead, it's not funny. And this is the message that needs to get out there. We are so far ahead of the wider dog world. And that's to me is, we need to fight more. We need to shout louder, make it known how far ahead we actually are. And let them all come and bark at us when they're up to our level. Don't go on the defensive. We don't need to be on the defensive anymore. We're the ones leading the way.
We just need the truth to be out there, Paul. That's what you're saying.
We're the ones leading the way, though. Then these people are trying to disparage our sport. Like, they're wrong. Tell them they're wrong. Point it out to them. Make it very easily known. Look what we do and look what you do. You're a mile off.
Paul, it sounds like a very, very emotive time back in the start of the year with our Mary's Dream. And it is worth remembering, as you say, though, that each and every person that's involved in the sport has their own Our Mary's Dream. And as you say, it doesn't matter if it's a Derby winner or an A9 winner or an A9 grader or an A9 not winner. They all mean something to somebody, and that's worth remembering. Paul, we have a great sport, and I think you really came across very well in what you said there. And we look forward to more stories of a similar vein in 2021, and hopefully we'll all be on track to witness.
Yeah.
We'll all be on track to witnesses. Listen, Paul, I hope to see you in Shelburne Park. If not, I'll see you down in Limerick, and we'll toast to our sport.
Thank you, Wayne.
Happy Christmas, sir, Happy and Christmas, we'll talk to you in 2021.
All the best.
Good luck. Thank you, Paul.
Bye-bye.
Hairs on the spin for the Irish Azarvich Open 600 Final 2020 in 1. Meena Maverick, 2. Amazing Alice, 3. Glenlara Rosa, 4. Meena Maestro, 5. Monbeg Zinzan, and 6. Meena Miracle. And away they go. 6, a rip-roaring start on the outside for the Stripes. Meena Miracle, the Derby runner-up, has the lead, leading by about 3.5 lengths to the opening turns. 2 squeezes up the inside. Amazing Alice still in there pitching. Pat Guilfoyle looking to win it twice on the bounce. Can he do it with Amazing Alice? But it's 6, Meena Miracle. It's going to be a huge effort to catch her from here. It's a gap back to 1. The rest are out of it around these final turns. Still 6, Meena Miracle with the advantage. They turn for home. 2 is still powering on in second, but up towards the line. Such class, such elegance. Meena Miracle is the Cesarevich champion. 2 second, Amazing Alice, and it's 1, Meena Maverick back in third. 6, Meena Miracle has done it in a track record 32.75. Amazing.
Chris Peanuts is 1, Bright Bell 2, Adamant Sky 3, 4 Our Mary's Dream, 6 Rock Along Amber. From traps, it's 1 on the inside, Lively, 4 in the centre, Our Mary's Dream, and 4 leads onto the second bend. 6 is second, 1 is in third. It's trap 4, Our Mary's Dream, that leads. 6 tries to improve and reduce the deficit. It's still 4 though, Our Mary's Dream by 3 lengths. From 6, 3 is next, followed by 1 and 2. 4, Our Mary's Dream looks a good position here to claim victory and will do so. 4, 3, 1. Martin Kennedy of Killaloe with the concluding winner in a time of 29:14.